Today on the Stay at Home Chef, I'm showing you how to make homemade pretzel rolls. These rolls are super tasty. You can eat them by themselves or turn them into one amazing sandwich. You can even just throw some pulled pork on there and We're gonna start with 1 3/4 cup of warm milk. You want it to be just warm to the touch, like a baby's bathwater. We'll follow that up with 2 teaspoons of instant dry yeast and a tablespoon of brown sugar. Now, since I'm using instant dry yeast, there's no reason for me to let this sit and proof. If you're using regular yeast, you will need to let this stand for about 10 minutes and foam up before moving on in the recipe. Next, we'll add in 2 tablespoons of softened butter, followed by a teaspoon of salt, and then we'll need 4 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. We'll get that in there and go ahead and start this mixing. You should end up with a dough that's tacky but not sticky enough to stick to your fingers. Next, we're going to take this, transfer your dough ball to a lightly greased bowl, cover it with a clean towel, and let it rise until it's double in size, which will take about 1 hour. Once the dough has risen, turn it out onto a clean surface, and then we're going to divide it into 12 pieces. And you want to make them as equal as you can. And then we're going to take each piece and we're going to roll it into a roll. And to do that, get your hand in a cupping shape and simply roll it until a nice round ball forms. Once you've shaped all of your rolls, simply let them rest on the countertop for about 15 minutes. In the meantime, preheat your oven to 425 degrees and line a baking sheet with either parchment paper or a silicone baking mat. You'll also need to bring a small saucepan of water to a boil. Add 1/2 cup of baking soda to the boiling water, and then we're going to use a slotted spoon to gently place our dough balls right in the boiling water. And we'll work in small batches of about 3 or 4. Let each roll boil for about 30 to 60 seconds, flipping halfway through. Then remove them and place them onto your prepared baking sheet. You'll see that the dough gets all puffed up, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Next, you'll need a beaten egg white, and we're going to brush this over each of our rolls. This will not only give our dough a nice, healthy shine, it'll also help the rolls get a nice dark brown. You may notice that I like to make sure they are well covered with the egg white. Next, since these are pretzel rolls, we're going to sprinkle on some coarse salt. And since these are still wet from the egg white, the salt should stick to the roll quite nicely. Once the salt is on, there's just one last step. Take a sharp knife and make 2 parallel slits about 1/4 inch deep in the top of each roll. Then we're going to bake these in the preheated 425 degree oven for about 20 minutes. Once your pretzel rolls are a deep brown, simply transfer them to a wire rack to cool completely. Thanks for watching. You can find the full written recipe in the video description. Be sure to subscribe and check out the rest of my channel where you can find hundreds of restaurant quality recipes you can easily make at home. See you later.